When a dog lowers or flattens its ears upon encountering a stranger, the gesture may appear simple at first glance, yet it carries a rich spectrum of emotional meaning that reflects the animal's inner state. Contrary to a common assumption that ear folding automatically signals friendliness or submission, the reality is far more nuanced. A dog's ears function as both sensory instruments and expressive tools, subtly broadcasting signals about fear, caution, curiosity, or even polite social intent. To understand whether a dog is feeling afraid or being friendly in such moments, one must look beyond the ears alone and consider the entire context of body language, environment, and prior experience. At its core, ear positioning in dogs is closely tied to their evolutionary heritage. Wild canids relied on ear movement not only to detect sounds, but also to communicate non-verbally within their social groups. Flattened ears often served as a way to reduce perceived threat, signaling submission or a desire to avoid conflict. This instinct remains deeply embedded in domestic dogs today. When a dog meets someone unfamiliar and its ears fold back against its head, it is frequently expressing uncertainty. The stranger represents an unknown variable, and the dog instinctively shifts into a cautious state, preparing either to retreat or to assess the situation more carefully. However, fear is not the only explanation. In many cases, ear folding can indicate a form of social politeness. Dogs are highly attuned to social hierarchies and often use submissive gestures to communicate peaceful intentions. When a dog lowers its ears while approaching a stranger with a relaxed body, soft eyes, and perhaps a gently wagging tail, it is not necessarily afraid. Instead, it may be signaling, "I come in peace." This behavior is especially common in well-socialized dogs that have learned positive associations with humans. They may lower their ears as a gesture of friendliness, much like a human offering a smile or lowering their gaze to appear non-threatening. Distinguishing between fear and friendliness, therefore, requires attention to accompanying cues. A fearful dog typically displays a cluster of signals beyond ear position. Its body may be tense or crouched, its tail tucked tightly between its legs, and its movements hesitant or retreating. The dog might avoid direct eye contact or show the whites of its eyes, a phenomenon often referred to as whale eye. In more extreme cases, it may freeze, growl, or bark defensively. In these situations, flattened ears are part of a broader defensive posture, indicating that the dog feels unsafe and is attempting to protect itself. On the other hand, a friendly or submissive dog presents a markedly different picture. Although its ears may still be lowered, its body is loose and wiggly rather than stiff. The tail, while possibly low, moves in a relaxed wag. The dog may approach the stranger in a curved path rather than head-on, sniff gently, or even roll onto its back to expose its belly, a classic sign of trust and submission. The ears in this context are simply one component of a larger, harmonious display of non-aggressive intent. Past experiences play a crucial role in shaping these responses. A dog that has had negative encounters with unfamiliar people, such as rough handling, loud environments, or lack of early socialization, may be more prone to flatten its ears out of fear. For such a dog, strangers represent potential threats, and ear folding becomes part of a learned coping mechanism. Conversely, a dog raised in a nurturing, socially rich environment is more likely to associate strangers with positive outcomes, such as affection or treats. In this case, lowered ears may accompany an eager yet polite greeting style, reflecting both excitement and respect. Breed characteristics can also influence how ear signals are interpreted. Dogs with naturally floppy ears, such as spaniels or retrievers, may show subtler variations in ear position compared to breeds with erect ears, like German Shepherds or Huskies. As a result, observers must be careful not to rely solely on ear movement when assessing a dog's emotional state. The overall posture, facial expression, and behavior provide a more reliable guide. Another important factor is the context of the interaction. A dog encountering a stranger in its own territory, such as its home, may react differently than it would in a neutral environment like a park. In its territory, the dog may feel a heightened sense of responsibility and display more defensive signals, including flattened ears, combined with barking or guarding behavior. In contrast, in a neutral setting, the same dog might show curiosity and cautious friendliness, with ear folding serving as a gentle, non-threatening introduction. Human behavior also significantly affects how a dog responds. A stranger who approaches too quickly, makes direct eye contact, or reaches out abruptly can unintentionally trigger fear, causing the dog to flatten its ears defensively. On the other hand, a person who moves calmly, avoids looming over the dog, and allows the dog to initiate contact is more likely to elicit a friendly, relaxed response, even if the ears remain lowered. In this sense, ear position can be seen as a mirror reflecting not only the dog's internal state, but also the quality of the human's approach. Understanding these subtleties is essential for fostering safe and positive interactions between dogs and people. Misinterpreting ear signals can lead to inappropriate responses, such as assuming a fearful dog is friendly and attempting to pet it, which may result in stress or even aggression. Conversely, recognizing that a dog with flattened ears and a relaxed body is simply being polite can help humans respond in kind, reinforcing the dog's sense of security and trust. In conclusion, when a dog lowers its ears upon meeting a stranger, it is not expressing a single, fixed emotion, but rather communicating within a complex emotional spectrum. The gesture can indicate fear, caution, submission, or friendliness, depending on the broader context and accompanying signals. To truly understand what the dog is feeling, one must adopt a holistic perspective, observing the entire body language and considering the dog's history and environment. By doing so, we move beyond simplistic interpretations and develop a deeper appreciation for the subtle, sophisticated ways in which dogs communicate with us and with the world around them.